But first, we are watching a dangerous situation with 2 nuclear energy plants damaged by the quake. An explosion occurred earlier today at one of the plants in the Fukushima prefecture. Also, the cooling system for 3 of the 4 reactors at another plant in Fukushima failed. CNN's Stan Grant has been talking with Japan's nuclear agency, and he joins us now from Tokyo. Stan, what is the status right now with the situation at those plants? Because a lot of people are very concerned.
Absolutely concerned, Randy. You know, this is uncharted territory here. You're talking not just about the earthquake situation, but now it's had a knock-on effect with these nuclear reactors unable to control the heating inside the reactors, and that's what's causing a lot of this concern. Now, let me bring you up to date about this explosion. Now, they've been talking about this explosion for the past few hours. 4 people injured with the explosion at one of these plants, one of the reactors. Well, I can tell you now, hearing from the Nuclear Safety Agency here, about what caused that. Let me just give you a bit of indication now. We're talking about an outside containment, a cement container, if you like. Inside that, there is a steel casing protecting the nuclear fuel. Now, what happened here, there was pressure inside that casing. They released some of the pressure from that, and there was a hydrogen buildup in the outer container, the cement container, and that's what's caused the explosion. It was a hydrogen explosion. Now, that, of course, has injured 4 people, and we're looking to see exactly what the extent of those injuries would be. This explosion has raised concern. Radioactive material being released into the air, and we know the government has admitted today that some radioactive material has been released into the air. They're saying it is a low level and no threat to anyone, but the exclusion zone has steadily been increased. First it was about a mile or so, then it moved out to 6 miles, 10 kilometres. It has now been doubled, 12 or 13 miles, about 20 kilometres. An indication, Randy, of the ongoing concern here, a situation that they've been monitoring hour by hour, and certainly the tension has been rising hour by hour as well.
Yeah, and Stan, since yesterday we've been talking about these problems with the cooling system. So if it's not fixed yet, can you give us an idea? Have you been able to learn anything about how difficult it is going to be to handle these problems?
It has been really difficult. Now, it's 24 hours more than that since the quake hit. We know that that affected the power supply to the reactors, and that's what's caused the problem with the coolant. It basically works like this. Water must be kept at a certain level over the reactor to keep it cool, because those reactors generate so much heat. It's that heat that then turns into steam, is then converted into electricity. When that water drops, you expose the reactor, that's when it starts to heat up. And what they've been trying to do is pump more water in there to get it at a certain level to cool that reactor. Now, there has been concern about some melting of the outer casing of that fuel rod. You've been talking about this cesium, radioactive material that has been released, and that's usually an indication that there has been some damage to the and to have some melting of the fuel rod. But what they need to do is to get more water in there to cool that reactor, and that's been their problem. They've not been able to achieve that in the 24 hours since they first were alerted to this issue. Randy?
Stan Grant watching the nuclear plant situation for us. Stan, appreciate it. Andrew?